All right, let's see. Interesting. Demonic language. Most people employ symbolic language. The words stand for something real, the feelings, ideas, and beliefs they really have, or they stand for concrete things in the real world. The origin of the word symbol lies in the Greek word meaning to bring things together. In this case, the word and something real. To master the art of indirection, you need to master the opposite, diabolic language. Your words do not stand for anything real. Their sound and their feelings they evoke. Their sound and the feelings they evoke are more important than what they are supposed to stand for. The word diabolic ultimately means to separate, to throw things apart. Hear words in reality. The more you make people focus on the sweet sounding language and on the illusions and fantasies it conjures, the more you diminish their contact with reality. You lead them into clouds where it's hard to distinguish truth from untruth, real from unreal. Daily law, keep your words vague and ambiguous so people are never quite sure what you mean. Envelop them with demonic, diabolic language, and they will not be able to focus on your maneuvers, on the possible consequences of your manipulations. That's from The Art of Seduction. Use the demonic power of words to sow confusion. That's crazy. Yep. This is why the humans are tricky. They do stuff like this. This is why I only trust dogs. Yep, that's pretty wild. Humans can do interesting things with their words, and then their actions can have nothing to do with what they just said. But we're a sucker for an eloquently constructed phrase. That's why I'm kind of done with like news and politics. I mean, I hear it on the podcast I listen to. I let them go over it, but especially like my social media. I've really been making sure that anything I see on there has nothing to do with any of that bullshit. Because it's all a trap. A trap to waste your time. Let's see what's in this drink. Is it coffee? That is coffee. Ah. All right. Looks like we're warmed up and ready to go. Let's hit the road. Okay. Had a bunch of dreams again. Same situation. Remember none of them. It'd be cool if there was like a dream recorder that actually could tap into your mind and record your dreams. Then again, I'm sure that would be hijacked. And then your whole mind would be open to surveillance. Alright, let's see what the day brings. See what kind of language people throw in the air today. Demonic language. That's pretty much all of. It's funny because if you were to take that into consideration, like demonic language, if it's meant to confuse and misdirect from true intention, then that would probably mean that demonic language in use would be in the form of flowery, pretty sounding things. And language that is more like straightforward and tends to offend, and that's probably, people would consider that to be like offensive, but at least it's honest and true, right? Or like a real good, like, say, politician who uses like phrases that are carefully crafted not to offend anyone. That's the true demonic language. Right? Because they say that, what, if you're going to dig into the word demonic, the devil was a supposedly very beautiful angel. And you can't tempt somebody with really ugly things. It's got to be real beautifully tempting, right? So going by that logic, all things demonic are probably really pretty and beautiful and attractive. Maybe. I don't know. It's a thought, that's for sure. But they would have you believe that it's all ugly and like gross and disgusting. Right? If you were to look up like drawings of what a demon would look like, they'd most likely you'd probably find something that's really like ugly, like horns and fang teeth and all kinds of, dark imagery. But that's probably not true. Because if something like that like showed up, like, just say it appeared in front of you looking all crazy like that, you'd try to do everything to avoid it right away, and that's counterproductive to something that's trying to get you to do something. It would probably have to appear to be something very pleasant and pretty and attractive and tempting. That's what makes sense to me. It's interesting. Maybe it's a trailer being pulled. I'm not too sure, but it looks like a motorhome in front of me. There's like a pickup in front of me, but then like a motorhome in front of it. But it looks like there's lights on inside the motorhome, but the lights are red. It's kind of an interesting looking situation. Or if it's a trailer being pulled, then whatever's pulling it, like the red running lights are shining through the trailer and lighting the whole thing up red. Which I think might be the case, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Like the red lights from the truck are lighting up the whole inside. Let's see. No, there's a bunch of red lights in there. I wonder what that is. Huh. That is interesting. I don't know. Shall remain a mystery. I am not going that way. Yeah, that whole art of seduction book. That's why people said it was, when you read like reviews on it. They said out of all of his books, out of all of Robert Greene's books, that's probably the most, I don't want to say evil, but I've seen that word used. Because that book is all the art of manipulation. It's all the tactics used to manipulate someone. Because that's pretty much what it means to seduce someone. Trying to get into somebody's mind and either get them to do or believe or think something outside of their normal way of being or thinking. How about that? That's what sounds pretty good. Good way to describe it. And normally we think of seduction in terms of like physical seduction, but seduction itself starts in the mental realm. It all starts in the mind. So that's why that book is pretty good. And when you read that book, the interesting part is, because that's what I kind of thought about when I bought it. Because it does sound like it's all like physical based in terms of like sex, like physical seduction. But when you start to read it, these are all the tactics that politicians employ when it comes to like winning over the population to whatever it is they're talking about. Which I thought was very interesting. So I'm pretty sure every politician's read that book. You'd be dumb if you didn't. And then you have to think back into like ancient history, like books like the Bible and the Quran and all these holy books, right? How much of these books were written with these kind of tactics in mind? Because this is not new thinking. Nothing new about this. Like as far back as humanity goes, these behaviors have been expressed when it comes to seduction, or really all his books, like The Art of War, The 48 Laws of Power, The Laws of Human Nature. All these things are ingrained in the human animal. So you have to kind of wonder how much of this was expressed through books like the Bible or the Quran, or what is the other one? The Bhagavad Gita, whatever it's called. Like the Hindu religious texts. It's an interesting thought to ponder. There's a helicopter hovering right there. I wonder why. Yep, they got their spotlight on something and they're checking it out. Yeah, that book should actually be like standard reading for everyone. Since we have all this media coming at us, like 24/7 through, TV and social media, and it's nonstop. Everybody should understand that, so they're able to recognize it when they hear it. That way you can not be affected by it so much. Let's have more coffee. And it looked like my woman made me a tea for the day. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to remember my my dreams too. I woke up. It's funny when every night I wake up from one, and it always seems like the dream itself is ending right as my alarm is waking me up. It's a real interesting, like, convergence of events. And I wonder if, like, do your dreams actually, like, try and tell? I know dreams are something out of the ordinary in a way that it's not just your mind, like, throwing things together as you sleep. There's, like, something there that's a little out of the ordinary happening. Because I've had dreams that are at least two where I was given information that I had never heard before that was ended up being accurate, and it's like, how does that happen? Because I heard somebody say once, like, dreams are just like your mind putting together images and information that it has. But, like, I've had Like my Bill Ayers dream specifically, I didn't know who that person was. I've never heard that name in my life. How does my mind come up with a name that I've never heard of in a dream? And then when I wake up and look it up, like it's a real person who was connected to some very interesting things. Like, how's that happen? How does it make any sense? I need like a real good book on dreams. I don't even know if there's a good one that could even explain it. Three right lanes closed ahead. Alright, we'll see. Where are these lanes? Hurry up, sir. Oh, madam. That's hilarious. The truck I just passed had a logo. This is gonna sound dirty. The truck I just passed had a logo for whatever trucking company it is on the side of the trailer, and I guess it was supposed to look like a leaf of some sort, or I that's what I could only guess it was trying to look like, but it looked like a vagina. That's crazy. I don't know how to explain that. Picking up the cone. It's pretty cool how they do that. So these lanes were closed off right now, and then if anybody's ever seen this happen, when they're taking the cones off of the freeway to open the lanes back up, they drive backwards and someone's on the back of the vehicle snatching up the cones as they go by. All right. on the back side of the hill. It's like the halfway point, or just past it. Stay behind the trucks. Yeah, good tip for anybody that wants to remain safe on the road. If you ever want to always have a safe journey, stay behind a truck. A delivery truck, not like a construction truck. Because these guys have to drive safe. They have to drive at a safe speed. They have to make safe maneuvers. Their whole livelihood depends on it. You will never get a speeding ticket driving behind a truck. Especially for somebody like me, because I have a little speed demon that I have to keep under control. I don't know what it is. There's something about me that loves to be on the edge of chaos. It's an exhilarating feeling. Like the adrenaline rush of it is very addictive. Even talking about it, I can feel it right now. The rational side of my brain just knows, stay behind the truck. So that's why I do it. All right, almost there. Yeah, you know what? Going back to that whole demonic language thing, that's why I've started to prefer listening to music that doesn't have lyrics. That's a perfect example of demonic language. Especially getting everybody to smoke weed. That was the whole purpose of Snoop Dogg. Just to subtly prime the mind to accept that activity as perfectly normal and acceptable by society. And they targeted kids because they knew the generation coming up was going to be the ones that helped usher this in. Because the prior generation, the boomer generation, was the ones that were given the strong prohibition against it. You know, there were the rebels, but for the most part, the boomer generation was the one that really was imprinted with the criminal aspect of cannabis use and the whole DARE program, and that was all boomer generation stuff. But then here comes hip hop and Dr. Dre and the Chronic album. And even the use of that term, the chronic, if you look up the definition of that word, it's not a good definition. I should have looked it up before I started. But something that's chronic is like it's like like if you have a chronic backache, it's like a persistent, unyielding backache. There's like a persistence to it. So all that music was nothing but demonic language. You know, you don't really understand it when you're hearing it, because half your mind is being activated with the vibration of the sound of the music itself, which gets you moving, right? But then that opens you up to what the lyrics are actually saying in a subtle way. When you have lyrics like smoke weed every day, it's literally a command to do that. Whoa. What's going on here? Oh, guys, why are you blocking off things? I gotta go this way. What's happening? No idea. Like 4 cop cars and like a police tow truck, but I don't see any other car around. That's interesting. I don't know what might have happened. I'm not involved. That's all I know. Amen. But yep, hip hop, nothing but demonic language in all of it. And I get it now. But that's like now all I listen to. It's either classical music or EDM. And even EDM with the lack of lyrics, there's still like a vibe to some of it that's kind of dark. It's like aggressive and kind of dark. There's some of it that's kind of like light and pretty. But mostly I use that to keep me moving at work anyways. Classical while I drive keeps me calm. And then the other stuff at work keeps me moving. You have to learn to use the energy of all the things coming in into your sensory perception to your advantage. If I listen to EDM while I'm driving, oh man, that really makes me want to just mash on the gas pedal. That's not a good thing. That's why I don't do that. And scene. All right. I've arrived at my destination. Okay, everybody have a great day. Let's go to work.